One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we've got to bring him on to. Nobody can take them.
Had to wear the Kronk merch. Shout out Kronk. So first session is strength. We're basically going to be doing some explosive weights. High intensity, short amount of time. We're working on our sprint systems.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Anthony Joshua trains with calm intensity, sharpening his strength, movement, and overall discipline as he prepares for Jake Paul. On the other side, Jake Paul puts in serious work of his own, determined to show he can compete with an elite fighter, with both men grinding hard in camp. The build-up has created real intrigue about how this unexpected and highly discussed matchup will unfold.
One thing I knew, he was a hard worker. Second thing I knew, genetically, he's very gifted. But I knew after the evaluation we had some work to do. Now I've seen his body already evolve into something totally different. I've seen his conditioning evolve into something different. And more importantly, his understanding of his body and why he's doing things the way he's doing them. That's the most important evolution that I've seen.
Anthony Joshua moves through camp with total confidence, fully aware of the edge he carries over Jake Paul. Yet he still grinds daily, determined to make a statement. For him, the mission is straightforward. Enter the ring, take control, and silence all the talk coming from Jake once and for all.
That's all that matters.
Because early on, if you look for power, you waste energy. Then that power evaporates. When they're tired, you ain't got the power to take them out. So you've got to open up in the gap for no reason. So just relax, flow.
Just pop off
Good
that
feet,
reach.
you were saying.
Just pop off that reach. And any time you move, that should be that. That should be that. Yeah. And then the controls down the middle. All right.
Yeah. That's what
control, smooth, relax, relax, relax. Last minute, mate. That'll do you then. Uppercut. Good. Right hand. Good. 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 Left hook high. Good. Uppercut high. And again.
Eddie Hearn explains that the offer presented to Anthony Joshua is simply too big to pass up, especially at this point in his career. Joshua has already accomplished nearly everything a heavyweight can, so accepting a highly paid fight is a strategic move, not a desperate one. Hearn emphasizes that boxing has always been about earnings as well as legacy, and when a fighter is offered huge money for a bout he can manage without major risk, it becomes a sensible choice. He argues that Joshua isn't doing anything unusual. He's just being smart with the opportunities in front of him. According to Hearn, no fighter would realistically refuse such easy money when it aligns with their training schedule, timing, and long-term goals. With Jake Paul putting such a massive purse on the table, Joshua is naturally stepping through the open door, because boxing is also a business where big offers deserve serious consideration.
Mike Coppinger, that one's in the works and looking likely for December. What can you tell me?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there has been conversations, obviously. I think it comes down to how true, they are. Jake Paul is that he actually wants to fight. I mean, he's a madman if he wants to fight. But for some reason, and he thinks he can beat AJ. And I have to be honest, we were going to have a run out in December, over 8 rounds against a bloke you've never heard of. And we may end up having a run out against Jake Paul for a career high payday. I don't see how we can turn it down.
When I asked you about it a couple of days ago, you said that at that time you never really got into the financials. Have those been discussed now? Have you discussed the financial element?
Yeah, there has been some conversations around that, and it is, it's a huge amount of money. And I think AJ would be mad if he didn't do it, and I think he will do it if Jake Paul is genuine. We may wake up tomorrow with these people and they've announced another fight. Honestly, anything could happen. So I still can't get my head around the fact that this guy wants to challenge AJ. Listen, respect to him if it's true, but we shall see.
To end on that note, I spoke to Alfie Sharman earlier. He said that himself or DAZN have had no conversations about AJ potentially taking that fight. Obviously, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. What's the situation with regards to that? Because I know they'd want it.
Apparently the fight's done. Obviously, it's not done because those conversations have to take place. I'm very confident that I can have some positive conversations with DAZN. Obviously, we'll be on a clock, but It's a 50-50.
Last one from me. I saw Chris McKenna tweeted that Anthony Joshua currently doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control licence. Obviously, it's not unusual for someone who isn't fighting currently and is inactive to let it run out. But he would have to apply for one to face Jake Paul again, and then they'd have to approve a fight. Do you think that'd be something?
Experts point out that Anthony Joshua's record already includes battles against some of the toughest heavyweights of his generation, even after a 14-month layoff. They stress that the gap in experience between him and Jake Paul is immense. Joshua spent years facing champions, knockout artists, and elite opponents who challenge him in ways that social media-driven fighters have never experienced. While time away from the ring can affect any boxer, analysts believe Joshua's fundamentals, power, reach, and ring IQ still give him a decisive edge. They also note that his previous loss doesn't diminish his standing, given the elite level of competition he has faced compared to Paul. Overall, they view Joshua's skills, even after a break, as more than enough to control and dominate the fight at will.
Wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight.
Do you mean mentally as well? Because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive. And as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really... While he was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion. We're talking about Jake Paul, guys. Do you know what's mad? Can I just add something in before Loza jumps in? There are Americans, and I've heard them in the last 24 hours, giving Jake Paul a better chance than Francis Ngannou, saying he has the boxing experience. Francis Ngannou didn't have enough boxing experience. Because that's how Americans view this whole thing.
Well, no, Francis Ngannou did have more boxing experience than Jake Paul.
Well, yeah. But that's what they're saying is Francis Ngannou had 1 fight, Jake Paul's had 10, 12.
10 rounds, and you little say I'm licking his ass. 10 rounds of Tyson Fury, will gain you more experience than everything Jake